Hello, students. Our continuation to the topic of staffing. In our early lecture, we learnt about the introduction of staffing. We learnt about what is staffing, the scope of staffing, how it has changed over time and it has expanded its scope of operations. And we also learned that staffing is something which is very, very important function in every organization. And again, I'm starting with a statement which has been given by Narayan Murthy. Narayan Murthy, he was the pioneer in the establishing Infosys, which is an IT based organization, and he is the CEO of that organization. And he understood very well the value of human beings working in the organization, and that is why he has aptly remarked, he has said, our assets walk out of door every evening. We have to make sure that they come back the next morning. Now he has considered human beings as an assets. Now because if human beings, they are not working in a proper manner in the organization will suffer and the organization will not achieve its target. So there is always, you may say, threat to each and every organization to have the best people who can stay for long in the organization and give their services. So it is a challenge for every organization to maintain competent workforce in the organization, which is a part of staffing function. And that is why he has emphasized upon the existence of competent and capable human beings who can serve the organization for the long period of time, and that is why always there is need for such kind of people in the organization. And if the statement he has given, it certainly shows the significance or importance of staffing function in the organization. Sometimes in the exam also it is asked, the statement may be quoted and it may be asked, what does this statement say? So this statement, it certainly signifies the importance of staffing function. So as Narayan Murthy, he has mentioned about the significance of this staffing function, because it is this staffing function which performs so many activities and it gives different benefits to the organization that we are going to discuss today. So in the examination it may be asked importance of staffing, or it may be asked about significance of staffing, or it may be asked the benefits of staffing. It is one and the same. So if staffing is undertaken, which includes different types of activities under it, we see that these activities, which it is, if it is performed in the organization in true spirit, in the right manner, it provides so many benefits to the organization. And those benefits are as follows. First of all, staffing helps in filling jobs with competent personnel. When it is said filling jobs with competent personnel, how can competent personnel, they can be filled in the organization? Why it is said? Because it is through the staffing function. Staffing is a process, and under staffing we have recruitment and selection procedure. And this recruitment and selection procedure helps the organization to find out the right person and who can be obtained from different sources. They can be discovered, and once they are obtained, then they can be properly placed in the organization so that they can give their best performance. Had there been no staffing activity in the organization, we could not see that right people, they could be appointed in the organization, because their staffing is a process. Always earlier also we have learned it is a process, and in this process there is an activity of recruitment and selection which helps the organization in obtaining and discovering the right person to the right job in the organization, and that helps the organization to move properly towards achievement of organizational goals. So that is the first benefit. The second benefit says better performance. Once the right person is appointed to the right job, by putting the right person to the right place in the right job, we see that the person gives the best performance. There is a process of placement in the organization, and that placement means that placing the right person to the right place at right time at right job in the organization. And if that is done in the organization, that is certainly helpful in making use of the competency of the personnel to the best possible extent towards the achievement of the organizational goal. Third, it helps in survival and growth. Now once the competent people, they are placed in the job and they carry out the job, automatically we see that the job performance improves. So performance of the job, once it becomes better, it ensures survival and growth of the organization for the long term period. So we can just understand that if there is no competent personnel, they are recruited and selected and placed, it would not have been possible for the organization to improve its performance. The organization is able to improve its performance, and if the improvement of the performance is there of the organization over time, we see that its survival and growth is not at stake. It is not threatened at all. Always it is on the safer side. Then fourth point, optimum utilization of resources. It is through the activity of manpower planning, which is also one of the steps which is involved in the process of staffing, which helps the organization to see that neither there is overstaffing nor there is understaffing nor there is incompetent personnel who are appointed in the organization. And if this is the situation of the organization, that there is optimal staffing in the organization, then the staff which is working and competent staff is working, he or she will be able to carry out his work properly and make use of the resources in the right direction. And that is only possible through the process of manpower planning. Manpower planning is deciding about the workforce which is required in the organization so that the work can be carried out smoothly in the organization, so that neither there is shortage nor there is excess of manpower working in the organization, and the organization in this way makes use of the resources to the maximum possible extent in the right direction. Then fifth point is better job satisfaction and high morale. We see that in the process of staffing, there is also performance appraisal of the employees. Employees' performance, it is evaluated from time to time, and they are given the feedback how they are performing, where improvements have to be done. So it is said that through objective assessment, that means evaluation, performance evaluation, the employees, they are given the feedback, and also reward and compensation is provided to the employees in a fair manner, and that helps the employees to move ahead in right direction, because if there is proper assessment of the employees and proper reward provided to them for their work which they are undertaking in the organization, their morale is boosted and they are always satisfied, and that helps the organization always in the long run. So thus we see that staffing is something, it is one such function which an organization has to carry out, always keeping in mind that without staffing, proper staffing, there will be less work, more pay in the organization. So with this, we understand the benefits and the importance of staffing in any organization. With this, the importance is done. Our next topic is, it is a very small topic, but still it is there in your syllabus. Staffing is both line and staff activity. We have learned staffing is something which includes number of activities. It is both line and staff activity. When is staffing considered as a line activity? Staffing as a line activity that is carried out as one of the functions of the management, which every manager has to essentially carry out in every organization. After planning, organizing, staffing is the essential function which every manager has to carry out in every organization, whether it is a small organization or it is a big organization. And in line, these functions are carried out: planning, organizing, staffing, then directing, and then controlling. That is why it is considered as a line activity. That means as an essential function in every organization carried out by every manager, that is what is a line activity. But staffing as a staff activity, it is a functional area of management. Staffing as a line activity is a function of management. Staffing as a staff activity is the functional area of management, like production management, marketing management, sales management. So there may be staffing management also, and its name is human resource management. So it is acting as a functional area. And once staffing is a functional area of management, we see that the manager there, he is a staff manager and he acts as the manager of a particular department, human resource department, and that is why his role becomes advisory. He can give advice to other departments in order to coordinate and correlate the activities, but his decisions are not binding. That is why we see that in small organizations there may not be a separate functional area of management for the staffing activity, because that staffing activity may be carried out as a line activity performed by as an essential function of every manager. But in big organizations, always there is a separate department which acts as human resource departments, where we see that activities related with staffing is carried out, and the manager working in that department always plays an advisory role. So, in this way, we see that staffing is something which is considered as an indispensable function of every organization, which has to be carried out properly so that the work which has to be assigned to the persons, they are capable of doing that work, and if they are capable and use their, they are in a position to make use of their expertise and competence, the goals will surely be achieved. So in this way we have completed the importance of staffing today, and tomorrow or in our next lecture we'll be talking about staffing process. Till then, thank you all of you. See you in the next lecture.